Hi, hello, welcome back to Adobe Live. My name is Jacob Phillips, and I will be here for the next hour with y'all. And we are going over some new features that are in Premiere Pro Beta. And it's really fun because the title of the event is Color Grade Faster Using Auto Detect. And I wanted to kind of take this whole hour and really break down everything that is new. And I'm going to adjust my volume just a bit. I want to go over everything that's new in Premiere. There's some really cool generative AI features that came out. And we're back from Max. I actually wanted to quickly show some Max. So we were doing live streaming there. We got Ray, Stan, Umacorn, Valadir, Penny, Robert. Welcome in the chat. I want to show you this. We got our Adobe Live Max booth right here. We had a TV of what was streaming, and then we had all of these people at the booth. Oh my gosh, it was a party. Go over here. This was the live stream setup that we had going on. And there's Paco. So Paco and I were running the production for all the live streams that were live at Max, and it was a good time. And there was just a lot of cool new features that got announced. The biggest one is honestly this generative extend. And to be honest, I just think it has implications for, so much of the future. It's still in beta. And if you don't know, if you don't have beta, go over to your Creative Cloud tab up here in the top or over here, and you'll see all your apps, and you'll have options to download the beta versions of those apps. Make sure they're up to date. I literally this morning just realized that this one version wasn't even up to date. So it went from 25.25 to 25.1 yesterday. So just don't forget to update your apps, especially in betas. We got happy Tuesdays in the chat. I hope everyone is doing well. Let me know if you have any questions or what else is going on in your guys' life. Is it morning? Is it night? Is it evening? What's going on? So I also, I see Jack in the chat. I finally got an IRL of Jack, the moderator, in real life at Adobe Max. It was incredible. It made me so happy. So Premiere Pro Beta, that's where we'll be living in most of the day. There is one very small, very exciting new update that it's just so subtle, but it's pretty incredible. So when you go to, if I close this project, we're in regular Premiere right now, and we go to new project, there's this new import loading screen, and this is distracting, but there's this new import loading screen, and it is so nice. You even have the skip import mode, which I typically, when I'm starting projects, I don't usually use the import mode that's defaulted in Premiere. And now you can title your project and get straight to it. I'm just going to go Adobe Live, fam, create, boom, straight to it. Drag in your media as you will. I'm always importing from my Finder, so I just found this new thing really, really good. There is one more in regular Premiere. So this is, if you're looking for a stable version of Premiere, something that's not with experimental things and things like that, you want to stay in the regular Premiere version. One of the really cool features is the new properties thing. So when you're in a project, you can go over here, right click, and you have this new properties panel. And instead of right-clicking, going down, scrolling, and then going fit to frame, fill frame, you now have all your properties on the side right here, and you can fit as you will. This is a great example because this was actually a square video, so it's I shot it in 4:3. So it's not the normal aspect ratio that you would get for, YouTube, things like that. But it's really helpful if you're trying to crop for 9:16 vertical and 16:9 because you just have a lot more headroom. But this is a great example of the properties panel. When I clicked fit, there's black bars because this is a 16:9 composition, right? So if you wanted to post on YouTube or anything like that, it wouldn't work, or it would look weird, right? So you can fill, and that'll bring it right in to being how you want. And yeah, I really like the properties panel. I mean, you got a lot. You got crop, your opacities. You don't really have to go over to effects controls anymore to kind of adjust those. I like that there's just a standalone thing, and you can always just undock that panel too, and just shrink it. I mean, look at this. There's a little adjust speed toggle now. I mean, it was well thought out, and a very exciting transformation of Premiere. And I think that was, one of the most exciting things coming back from Max is just, there was a lot of really cool Premiere stuff, and I couldn't be more excited. Valdir says, I forgot about the properties panel, so this morning I needed to style some captions. I flipped my Premiere backwards and didn't find where to edit them. Yeah, the properties panel, it's kind of hiding a bit. I mean, I just popped it out, but you can always go over here and find it as well under properties. So if it gets lost, just go over to Window, click on that. It'll find itself. So the real meat of this video is going to be in Generative Extend. But before I do that, because I mean, the AI stuff is just incredible. And I'm just so excited to kind of we're just in such the early stages of AI, especially generative video. And they kind of gave us a little sneak peek with Premiere Beta. And I was pretty excited about it. I'll read some comments. Late afternoon, early evening, 5 p.m. What a nice little 5 p.m. It is 9 in the morning. Fresh day for me over here. Barely got a cup of coffee in. So before we get into the really crazy AI stuff, and I have the little sequence over here. It's called Generative Extend, was the new beta feature that came out that was, I think, blowing everybody's mind in the thing. I just wanted to show maybe a lesser known fact in Premiere Beta, that there's auto detect now for log footage. And if you don't know, log footage is that gray footage that you see. You see it all the time. This is gray. I mean, the other clip that we had earlier, let's see if I can pull it up. I had it in the regular Premiere version. And let me just pull it up in the Premiere version. Great example. So, something like this. Super gray. And it's already auto-detecting the log. So I can't even give you guys a good example. This is hilarious. I think it might have even be a newer feature that shows you in the preview window. Because when I drag over this, I mean, it was gray in this other. See, it's gray. I swear, it's not color corrected. And this is what log footage is in a nutshell. It's footage that has a lot more dynamic range, but it's shot in a lot flatter of a way. Okay, and so going back into beta, when I drag this in, there's auto detect features now, and they've been around too, which is the craziest part. It's just I'm gonna hit fit again because I have a feeling. No, I'm gonna fill it because it's square. And we're gonna go over to Lumetri, over past the edit tab, over to settings, and it just can detect log however it needs. And it's really freaking cool. So if I go over here, it knows different cameras. And so when you're working in a project that has many different cameras, this becomes a lifesaver. So I'm going to go over here, and it's able to know that this is a Canon Log 2 Cinema Gamut. And when I click over here, it knows that it's a Panasonic Vlog. And it's taking right from the publishers of these camera manufacturers. It's taking their LUTs and adding it into your sequence. And it just knows. And I don't know. You don't even have to mess with adjustment layers. I think this is going to make it, into the final release soon. All things beta, make it someday into real versions. But I mean, to me, this saves just so much time, and you don't even have to question when you're filming whether you want to shoot in log, because it can just detect it automatically. I actually have some iPhone footage that is log as well. And let's find some. Yeah, so this is Apple log. So the iPhone can shoot log too, and I made some live streams about this before. And that's what's so crazy is when I drag this in, let's see what it does. It's a lot shorter of a clip than these other ones, but we got Apple log and it's recognized. And this is a 1080p clip on a 4K timeline, so we can go back to our properties and fill that, which is just great. I'm going to check the chat right now. We got Alessandra, Stian, maybe a little off topic, but does log format contain color information, or is color entirely added in post? That's a great question. So there is color information in a log thing, in log footage, but it is not going to be the same as like a raw photo, because a raw photo really does like keep the data inside. That's why the file sizes are so large with raw photos. With log footage, it's merely flattening your image to look, flat. And so the data isn't stored. It doesn't make the files bigger. You can actually shoot raw video on Red or something like that. And, then you'll see a difference for sure of, extra data. But like say the highlights were clipped like over here. In log video, like just log, you probably you can only preserve them to an extent. You have more optionality to do that than if you're shooting in a flat profile, but you have less flexibility. If you're shooting in RAW, it's usually always in log as well, and it keeps all that highlight information, so that way you're able to take it out as need be. It's kind of a confusing, long-winded answer, a little bit technical, but this is pro tips, so we're over here pro tipping. And that was a great question, because it's not like a raw photo. Log footage, I'm not going to sit here and say that it stores all the information. You still have to shoot it right. But you do just have the tiny bit more flexibility in your highlights when things are blown out. I always shoot things overexposed, so that way I can bring them down in post. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. So, yeah, it really just depends. But that was such a great question. If you have any more as we're doing this auto detect color, just let me know in the chat, because I just think this is so fun. And it really is going to kind of pave the way for anyone that doesn't have the technical know-how, but wants to, have good footage. Auto detect log in Premiere Pro beta. It's a game changer. I recommend you downloading it, checking it out. The max cold got me. Yeah, honestly, maybe I just need some water, because that could help. I just sometimes I get sneezy in the morning. It's groggy. It's 9 a.m. It was, sometimes it just be like that, Hopefully I'm not sick. Maybe I need some vitamin C or something like that. Who knows? But I'm glad you guys are trying to take care of me. At least I have like a DJ raspy voice a bit, so that way I'm able to really have like a deep, fun sounding voice. So this footage, it's I'm trying to think how another way to describe how exciting auto detect log is, because it sounds so mundane, but it's just in a workflow working with like footage. Like if I'm like selecting all this footage, I suddenly can group all of this footage into a timeline, all these clips. Oh, and I got to fit them to frame. Go to properties, fill. And suddenly, it's all just dialed. And I think, I don't know. I guess some may say I'm beating a dead horse, but this is really fun stuff. And I'm really excited to be into regular Premiere. And so, yeah, biggest things would be so far before we have the big fun reveal of playing with AI for the rest of the stream. Biggest things that I think make a huge difference are in just regular version Premiere would be the properties panel up here, along with auto detect. No, the properties panel along with the import screen. And auto detect, it's been around in beta for a while. It's well tested. It has all the cameras, Panasonic, Sony, DJI. It has them all. And before I forget, let's say you want your own LUT. You can override the media color space over here, and you can put whatever you want. You can also just you can remove it entirely. So if you want an input LUT like you normally would do, just do it as you will, and it'll be all good. So yes, that is auto detect log. Let me know any other extra questions that you may have. Do you guys use Premiere? What apps are your favorite that you're either learning or working in? Let me know in the chat. Let me check YouTube chat too. Let's see if there is anything fun over here. So we got Aaron in the chat. We got LR editing with a waving hi. We got Cody Bear. We got all the peeps. We're hanging out. I want to play with the bombshell features in Generative Extend. Let's see if I can even pull up the webpage to better explain what Generative Extend does. I'm sure Premiere has a beautiful little website that shows. Well, I guess I get to show y'all myself. There's been some really cool demos on stage at Max. It was released that you can now fix a clip in post that say you didn't extend. Better put, let's say you need a couple extra seconds of this clip playing. You can AI generate it now. And there's some caveats because this is all so new. And I kind of wanted to go through the caveats because it is a bit confusing that since this is in beta, since this is so new, there's just some things that you do have to work around that I realized testing all this out. And so there's a couple specifications that you need to have. I'm going to pull them up actually because I thought that the Adobe team made a really good job breaking it down. Generative Extend. So the biggest things, I can't find it off the top of my head, but there's a list on the Adobe Community tab that breaks down everything that you need to know for specifications of your footage specifically for Generative Extend. I'm gonna go back to Sean says, I showed off some Premiere at Max in Munich. Heck yeah. I'm going to open my door because my dog just really wants to come in here right now. I'm live streaming this. I guess she really wanted her bed, so we'll get it to her. We'll let her do her thing. So the biggest thing is that you need to have 30 frames per second footage, and you also need 2430, and it's limited to 1080p or 720p. And so, it's important to, and I believe actually this is where you can figure it out, is when a clip doesn't work, it breaks down everything you need to know. That is where I found this community tab. It was actually so intuitive. So I'm going to take a shot that I believe I'm going to drag video info over here. I want to know my frame sizes next to my frame rate, because this is helpful. Because these are 4K clips. And this is a great example. So I'm going to drag this in. And for those who don't know, you want to add an extra couple seconds. I actually did this already. This is an AI version of the last couple seconds of my clip. It's cool. It's fun. It's the future. I don't understand how it fully works. We'll go over to properties. We need to fill this frame. But here's an example of something that doesn't work. And I want to just explain like ways to work around to use this new technology, because it is so new, like quite literally fresh off the press of being able to do this. So there's obviously going to be things wrong. So right down here, there's this new generative extend tool, which is only in the beta. Keep in mind, I don't want it to be making up any rumors here. So if you need to add an extra few seconds, there's this intuitive tool that you just can drag in the beginning or end of your clip some, but you're going to see Generative Extend does not support your clip. And so I bring this up because I want to click on this Learn More tab, because it opens up the web browser and it really breaks it down for us of all like the specifications you need for a clip. Because I ran into this because I shoot everything in 4K these days. So I was like, oh my gosh, like how do I do this? So currently, landscape videos with a 16:9 aspect ratio works with 1080 or 720p. No vertical videos yet. So this is all stuff that will come in the future. You can generative extend slow motion footage and time-lapse footage. And yeah, it breaks down what is good, what works well with generative extend, what works not as well. What if you don't like the result, you can regenerate. So these FAQs saved me to understanding, and there are FAQ pages on Adobe's website for all their apps. And it's really helpful with beta features when you're trying to dig into the details to learn better. So that's all in an effort of saying you need to have the right clips. And so I did that. I did find the right clips, and I actually ended up making some of them because I didn't have them. So I took this 4K drone footage that was 23,976 frames. The frame rate was fine, but the problem is it was 4K, and you can't generative extend anything less. So I actually used Adobe Media Encoder. And, it sucks because I wouldn't want to go into the weeds and show you guys this, but I think it's actually a really important note, because a lot of people shoot their footage in 4K, and to demo this product, you need to have Media Encoder. And so I'm going to open it up right now. It's a separate app that you can download in Creative Cloud, and it just handles all sorts of rendering. You can render stuff in Premiere, but you always have the option when you're exporting to, I hit Command M here, to send a media encoder. And that means that you can stack multiple videos. So say you're exporting a bunch of different sequences for a client, you can use both. So I have Media Encoder open, and I just wanted to show you my workflow because I want you guys to have a good time. So if you're ever shooting 60 frame footage or 4K footage and you want it to work with GenExtend, simply bring your clips. I'm going to reveal in Finder here. Simply bring your clips into Media Encoder and change the settings. Basically, you're transcoding it, and I created a 1080p folder for all that footage. So now I can GenExtend anything that I want, but I also am preserving the 4K quality if I'm, say, working footage for a client, yada, yada, yada. And you can select all. I did Command A here, and I'm going to click on the preset that I want. I'm going to click OK, because we're going to use it for all the presets, and I'm going to make the preset that I want to do. So I'm going to do ProRes 422. And I'm going to change the width, to 1920 by 1080. And keep in mind, you can also change the frame rate if you were shooting in 60 frames. Change it down to 24. You could also export a slow motion version of your footage and then use Gen Extend. And I'll show that later. So 1920 by 1080, I'm going to hit OK. All of that gets converted. And you can put it in any folder that you want. I created a 1080p folder that has all the footage that we're able to use for Gen Extend. So this is the copy of all that footage. And so that makes it really useful. So I made a bunch of generated versions, but I just wanted to start by like maybe making our own. So this is like a sunset shot that was super pretty. It's got some waves crashing. Let's play this back. And Ray asks, can you only Gen Extend once? So you can Gen Extend on either side of a clip. And that's basically your only option. Okay, this is a great example. We got the sun setting. And, you know, let's say we just wanted an extra couple seconds. So I'm going to drag this in all the way over here. You can tell I've been playing with Gen Extend. And we're just going to play this back. I'm going to fit this. That's 1080p. Let's show you what I'm talking about. Let's check what the colors are looking like. Maybe we can add something later. It's Rec 709. DGI sometimes a little like unsaturated to start. So like, honestly, if we want to make it look better, it's always fun. I always want my stuff to look a little bit better. Bring up the saturation a bit. DJI footage is pretty great at that, of just like, you don't really always need a LUT because D-Log is pretty like light of a log space that sometimes you just can get away with saturation and contrast, which is really cool. So I'm going to click on Generative Extend, and we're going to extend the last couple seconds of this clip and see it work its magic. So I just realized I grabbed the 4K version. So I'm going to look at DJI 83 that I have in here, and I'm going to go to 1080p, and I'm going to drag this one instead on top because, like I said, it works better. And since we did this, we exported in ProRes, it still keeps all the color that we would want, which is great. So there we go. Let's work its magic. Let's see what happens. I'm going to drag the two. You get 2 extra seconds for footage that is on the end, and you get 10 or footage that is video. You get 10 seconds for audio, and I can't wait to talk about audio too. It's very exciting. Let me know. This all is so new, even to me. So let me know if you have any questions, if I'm explaining this right. And we can go over anything that you have questions about. So right now it's generating. You'll see up here, you click on the Generative Extend. It is currently sending some of this footage to the cloud to create a little AI model. It's doing something crazy up in the cloud, and it is coming back to us with an AI generated version of our footage and interpreting what it thinks it can do with it. And I've rendered a bunch of them already, but I just kind of wanted to show the process. Let me know. I'm really excited for the audio portion of this because it's going to be really helpful with productions. It can generate sound effects. It can generate room tone. It's like, I mean, the possibilities are really endless. Sean says 10 for audio. I thought it was 5. I'm pretty sure it's 10. Because I was surprised with how long it was too. And you actually have to unlink the sources because right now it's just adding 2 seconds of audio. But let's check the FAQs because I know it tells us how long can my thing. 2 seconds for video content and up to 10 seconds for audio content. And you got to keep in mind that it does say for audio elements like room tone or background sounds can be stretched to 10 seconds. So it's not stretching like people talking. I don't even know how that would work, because how do you gen extend like someone talking, right? But I think the use cases for sound effects and room tone are really cool, and I want to get into that later. But it just finished rendering. Again, I haven't even generated this yet, so it's always such a fun experiment, just playing this back, seeing if we're going to notice a difference. And you'll see it tagged this as AI generated the last 2 seconds here. So just a fun little thing. Let's see what it does. Oh my goodness. It's so crazy. I can tell that I think it might have generated before I added. Let me turn off these Lumetri colors, because I added it straight to the clip. Let's see if I think it'll play back better now. Wow. It is just pretty incredible that it's getting the texture right. The only thing that it really needs to figure out is kind of like the color change. I can tell like that like shifted a bit, but like the like texture on the water is just like pretty good. And I mean, this can really save your butt if, say, you had an interview and the guest decided to keep talking right after they said their answer, but you wanted them to just have their lips closed. You can gen extend them just being silent. Like, I think a great example would be like this guy. Like, if he was talking and after his answer, you just wanted him to like smile, you could gen extend him smiling. And I just think that's such a crazy use case. Let's see if we can actually do that. I mean, I didn't really think about doing this live. But I'm always into breaking new technology if we can, because that's the only real way that we can figure it all out. So that's one of those limitations, is it is a 1080 limit, and this is a 4K file. So I'm gonna go back into the DJI stuff because I don't want to render that out just yet. But the whole idea, right, is like for an interview setting, like the use cases are phenomenal. Like you can literally have someone just like smiling at their answer or serious at their answer after they're done talking, because oftentimes if you're filming an interview or something like that, you can have you need that extra couple seconds for like that point to be made. And sometimes like someone you're interviewing can very oftentimes just keep on talk about the next thing. And that doesn't really help the story that you're building. And so that's where I see Gen Extend being really cool in like documentary sort of work. The colors did change, make them talk slower. Yeah. Maybe we can make on-screen talent just talk slower. That could be fun. So let me show you some other fun. The one thing I did want to point out is the AI model hasn't really gotten text down yet. I'll show you what it created. It's really good with shapes of buildings, but I had it generate this, and it's this city hall that's whizzing by, and you know what? I'm curious why this didn't auto detect log. Maybe because I'm not sure, but this city hall, I wanted it kind of happened too fast. So this was my first generation of it, and look what it generated. It's so funny because it's like at a glance, you're like, oh yeah, like that's cool. Like it's not changing colors, but if you look closely, like look at the text, it's like the AI model hasn't figured out the text part so well yet, but it got the buildings down like to a T. Like, I mean, that's crazy, right? And so I thought that was a really fun thing to note, because whenever you're shooting, just like how I use, say Podcast Enhance to fix the audio in post, you have to know the limitations of the software when you're shooting, because, you don't really know what those limitations, like if you're going to be able to fix it in post, without it. So let me show you some fun examples that I thought were really successful. I have this beach right here, and I had it change like that. You can definitely tell that the colors flicker a little bit, but I don't know. I feel like if you are like, oh my God, yeah, this one was crazy. Okay, so this is just the waves, and then oh man, it looks very like artistic. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not perfect, but I was just so like, whoa, like this is a cool thing. Like, I'm sure in like the Firefly AI models, like if you took video clips and said like, hey, make it like look like this, like look how silky that generation is. And so, this is all in beta. I think the freakiest thing actually was I had it generate two extra seconds of people right here, and it got it. This was honestly the best example that I've had. Is just look at this. They're frozen still. So the AI model knows that it just kind of has people freeze in place. But if you needed an extra second, right before they jump up, this is AI generated, and there's no color change. And so I have a feeling that there was some issue with this because of I was shooting more in low light, and I think that the model doesn't understand grainy subjects. I believe it said that in this as well. What kind of clips work well? And it said that things that have grain have trouble. And my thought process with some of this darker footage. This is at sunset. You can even see the grain in the regular shot of this. And it's just like, you can totally tell that there is grain already. And I think that's where the model that they point out in the forum, that's where the model struggles. So I want to look for some like more daytime footage, and I'm even going to convert with you guys in real time that footage just to see what we can do with it. So I have this real estate listing, and let's find something good. It's all in 60 frames, and so I wanted to quickly show you. Let's get like an outside shot of the house. I feel like that would be best. Oh my gosh, this building, this is like a static shot with a plane flying over by. I believe this would be really good. No, not this one. Maybe there's like a plane flying over too. So this is daytime. Oh, here we go. We got the plane. I think it would mess up the text, so I actually kind of want more of a wider shot. There are some great examples in here. So we already know that text is a little wonky, but let's throw this in. And oh my gosh, it's huge. So we're going to go to the properties panel and fill. So it looks like we have this as a 60 frames composition. So should we try the airplane too? You know what? We really should. I think we'd be doing a disservice if we didn't try to break the AI model, because that's what it's really all about. So I'm going to actually slow down both of these. In the new properties panel, you can adjust your speed right here. I'm going to go to 50% because this is 60 frames. We're going to slow it down. We're going to make it real smooth. And they mentioned in the forum that they have no problem extending the beginning and end of any clip. So we'll see how that works. And we're going to go adjust speed here, go to 50, and we are going to export 1080p versions of this. And I know it's not ideal. 4K will be in our cards soon. I'm sure of it. But you're also able to trim it the way that you want. Let me go ahead and fit that. You can trim it the way you want. Like this goes down, and I don't want that. I want it to extend this part, not that part. So I'm going to actually just trim this. And I'm curious how it'll work with the text, but I have a feeling the color will be better. So we're doing it all in real time. I like to break things. I feel like that's the best. We're going to call this Kaiser plane. And we're going to make it 1080p. Perfect. We're going to hit export. And again, let me know if you have any questions in the chat. We have about 15 minutes left. Thank you for letting me know, Robert. And yeah, just let me know. Any questions? We have, can you cut the last bit of a clip, render in media encoder, then extend the very short clip? Yeah, you can. I think that's, another reason why I want to show this hack is you can make unlimited lengths of generated content by just continually exporting whatever you're making and then bringing it in again, which is a fun little hack, I feel like. So let me find where that footage is. We're also going to export that other version because I want to see what it does. I'm so curious. I think it's just like so. I have this exported. It's called Kaiser Plane. And let's also export this. Let's see if there's anything. Just going to do this beginning. I mean, we got people walking. This is, and a little zoom. So I'm going to use the steady part like here. We're going to export this. I'm so excited to see how this works because it feels like magic. I'm going to call this Kaiser Building. Export. My goodness. Let's drag this in as well. Kaiser Building. All right, let's do the thing. Let's see how it works. I just wanted to double check that I got the frame rate right. I think that was the biggest thing I had to do. Did I get the frame rate right? Kaiser Building, 23976. Kaiser Plane, 23976. Perfect. So let's do this thing. Generative extend. And let me know if we want to extend the beginning or the end. Let me know in the chat. And I'm going to unlink this. And in our last 10 minutes, remind me that we have to go over, oh my gosh, look at how much time that we get. I mean, I don't know. That just feels like a lot. So it's generating now. You can check the progress up here. Also, you can see what everything is new in this little beacon, this little beaker. You can see what's new in beta. It'll tell you the new changes since you last opened the version. I just checked it, so it says you're all caught up. You can see all the changes. It's cool. It's fun. AI generating is going crazy. Let's do another one too. Let's see how this plane. Oh my gosh. Let's extend the front of this. See what it does. I'm going to unlink and just do this. Go to generative extend. Drag that out. And fun little nerdy thing, but if you notice that the AI generation has new colors, and it says it has it's like this pink and like purple, compared to like when things are offline, it's like red. So there's like a whole new like color scheme that I was kind of nerding out about. I was like, oh, this is cool. Yeah, you can extend the beginning to Z, and I think that's what's so fun about it is, I mean, just like in this example with the drone shot over here, I had just, it generated a version of helpful. Like, it's like, it looks like a kind of an image, but like, I mean, granted, I think the fingers, but it's just like, wow. Like, I was like, that actually doesn't look half bad. So it's really good with like locked off shots, I've noticed. So let's do it. While that's doing it, let me set up some audio tests as well. I think that would be important. Looks like it finished that clip. Let's see how it does. Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. Wow. Oh, there was like a little bump. Like my camera like bumped. So it like, wow. Got the people pretty good. They're like still walking too. Wow. And it got the Kaiser building perfect. It got the text. So like moving stuff, it seemed like I was really tricking it with this first clip that I showed you with it passing by. It like scribbled out the city hall. But since this is a locked off like sort of tripod shot, it seems like it did really well, which is awesome. Gotta find it. Where'd it go? Where'd you go? I have so much going on in here. Okay. And it looks like it extended the beginning. Let's see if it got the plane. Oh my God. It got the plane. It got the plane. Oh my gosh. That is so cool. There's like the tiniest little color flicker that I wonder if you could fix with like a deflicker plugin or something like that. 'Cause that's crazy. It still has the plane moving too. Like it I mean, I think this is a pretty complicated example that it did really well. Thing to note too is this is all with auto detect color to go full circle. So just so you know, this was all in log and it still was able to make this. So I'm gonna go back to this. I'm gonna go to properties. We're gonna fill this, and there is some audio that I want to sync that I believe. Let's take the first. Let's take the first one. And we want to generate in our last 8 minutes here. We want to generate some room tone. What is room tone, you may ask? So room tone is when you are making a video and you aren't really able to just have complete silence of no audio playing. And so I just synced up this clip and there's too many layers. So I'm going to unlink this, just drag this up here to make it look a little prettier. So I just synced this clip of them talking, and I actually don't know if I have audio set up with Premiere right now, but just as an example, let's see if we can get this set up. So I'm going to make sure this is filled. Room tone is when you need just silence of wherever the scene is because you need to add it over top someone talking or something like that. And oftentimes, as a run and gun videographer, I forget all the time to record room tone. In Extend now, we can create room tone, which is really freaking cool. I mean, yes. So Z says hold for room tone, and that's exactly it. So normally at the end of a shoot, like say this of them talking, I totally forgot to say, hey guys, can we get some silence and just hold for room tone? I just need you to be quiet for about 10 seconds. And you can use this under the track while someone's doing a voiceover, or you could use it to sample that audio to kind of try to take out background noises in Adobe Audition. There's a lot of use cases for room tone, and it's used a lot in like professional production settings. Now with Generative Extend, you can extend out 10 seconds of audio for that room tone. So let's go ahead and try that now. I saw a little quiet part of it. And in the meantime, I'm going to see if I can get Premiere Audio to work.
Oh, man.
You starting from there? There?
I will just start over.
Can you guys hear that? I can't hear it.
I will just start over.
Okay.
I think you guys can hear that.
I will just start over.
Okay.
Ready? Set.
Technical difficulties. Let me make sure that my settings are good in Premiere Beta. Let's go over to General and Audio Hardware. Default output. Yeah, we need my headphones. And then you guys can hear me, I believe. That's perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I'm going to bring down the audio because I think it's a little loud for y'all. So room tone, let's mute these tracks. And I AI generated this side over here. So let's see. I didn't even hear it when I generated it.
We'll just
So
start
let's
over.
see.
Yeah.
Ready?
It says
Set.
my audio hardware.
Yeah.
Can't seem to hear it on my end. Can you guys hear that? Oh. For some reason I can't hear that. So let me know when I played that back if it kind of created some sort of room tone. Because I can't seem to hear it. There's always something with live streaming, you know, it's funny. But it looks like it even generated this little extend thing on the bottom. So crazy.
We'll
Did
just
it
start
create
over.
the room tone?
Ready?
Can anyone
Set.
let me know? It's not letting
Yeah.
me. Z says yes, it did. And so while I may have live stream technical difficulties, Premiere seems to have no problem generating room tone for this, which is really, really crazy. I mean, yeah, I'm impressed. I wish I could hear it, but I hope that's a good example and just a great use case for using. You can use it for sound effects too, right? And 10 seconds is a really long time for audio. And I have a feeling that audio tools will be something that Adobe can figure out a lot faster with AI models than video, because video is got to be the hardest thing to nail in an AI model, in my opinion. I mean, it just seems very, very serious. So I'm going to play this back because I'm just so impressed by that shot. That's crazy. It's like changes just in the slightest, but if you were making this for like social media or something like that, like no one would notice that. I mean, that is like so minute. Maybe like don't send that to a client, but like if you're making a social media post, that is crazy, the generation that you got right there. And yeah, wow. So let's just overview in our last 2 minutes. So regular Premiere 2025 is out now. Go download it. There's a lot of cool things, but the biggest thing would be the new import screen, the properties panel that you can undock, put wherever you want. You have adjust speed, audio, cropping. Everything that used to hide in effect controls is now in its own little breakaway thing that you can have all the time. I especially like the fit and fill. I can fit it, I can fill it. Looks great. Those are the two biggest things in Premiere Pro 2025. Going to beta, obviously the biggest headline would be the AI generation thing, but I think the biggest feature that you'll use all the time is auto detect log. You can even see in this clip, this is auto detected. This is log footage that was auto detected. And it even shows it in your preview screen on the left as well. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. I'm really, really happy with everything that's happening in Premiere right now. I feel like it's getting so much attention and love, and I could just feel it in the air at Max. Everyone was talking about it. They were just like, wow, these are really cool features coming out. So as always, take care. I'll see you guys soon. Stay tuned. There's a whole day and a whole week of content coming up. So don't go anywhere because there is a lot planned. But my name is Jacob, and thanks for hanging out with me for the hour. And I'll catch you all next time.